Hey, Mike, I didn't step on it this time.
No, what happened? You feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. No, I went through and I was looking at some of our shows this week, and I was like, God, this is what I'm doing wrong. So, this is what I'm doing wrong there, Mike. So, hey, we got some guests today. So why don't you? I know you got something for me first, though.
All right. We'll just do a real quick word because for whatever reason you're not in your normal spot. So, one of our guests is in the window. Just wave. Yeah, there you are too. But just don't say anything. So it'll be people can guess who he is as a secret side game. Unless you're an audio listener, and you're screwed. So, really quick word today. It's a very pedestrian kind of a word, and that is petextrian.
Textrian.
Yes.
Textrian. It's like a crossing guard, like somebody who protects somebody crossing somewhere.
That is absolutely not what that is.
Okay, all right. Petextrian. Man.
I think I got it. Someone texting and jaywalking.
Is Brian right?
Brian is right. Somebody who texts as they're walking, a petextrian, and is unaware of their surroundings. So very good, Brian. You get the point today.
Yay! All right, Mike. Let's hit the go button.
Already been hit, sir.
All right, tearing up the fabric of space and time. Tonight's show will be fast, fun, and furious. Grab onto that wild die because it's time for the MythWits. The show dedicated to all things geek pop culture, drenched in absurdity and coated with sarcasm. Every week, we bring you news and interviews from the Geekoverse. We do our darndest to be funny, but there are no guarantees.
No guarantees.
I'm your host, Peter Bryant. Joining me this week is my co-host, Michael Capus. Special guest co-host, Robert Trav Pulaski.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome back, Brian. Brian's had a little sabbatical, but he's back.
Hey, Brian.
Hello.
And our special guests tonight, Sean Patrick Fannon and Ross Watson.
Hello, everybody.
How's it going?
Hey, so
By the way, I'm looking at the chat window thing. That's what I was trying to. That's what I actually was waving. It's not playing. Is it playing for other people and I'm just missing it, or? The live event will begin in a few moments.
There is a little bit of a lag.
This is a lot of lag.
I don't know. I can check it.
Yeah, I'd say before
I mean, it's
technical difficulties, you might want to be clarified that it is actually working.
It's posting on the show, and I see
it.
I see it posting on the window. Are you sure you're on our website looking at it?
I'm on your website looking at it. Yes.
Okay. You have to refresh the page and then hit play. Says Gail getting close.
Yep, we're good.
It's okay. I mean, as long as they can, I don't care because I can see you guys on this. So
Yay!
I just want to make sure it was working.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
I got it on my phone, so it's pretty meta up in here.
So Sean Patrick Fannon, Sean has been professionally involved in tabletop RPGs, computer games, and entertainment for over a quarter century. He's as old as us, Mike. His dozens of projects have included Hero Games, Champions product line, both West End and Fantasy Flight Star Wars RPGs, various World of Darkness books, and the Savage World epic high fantasy setting Shaintar. Sean now focuses on his own company, Evil Beagle Games, as well as serving as the brand manager for the Savage RIFTS line of Pinnacle Entertainment Group. And there's a lot of other stuff, but I wanted to keep this short. Ross Watson. Ross is a designer of computer, miniature, and role-playing games, and a writer in various genres. Ross worked on the Warhammer 40k roleplay line as the lead developer for Dark Heresy, was a lead designer for Rogue Trader and Deathwatch, and was part of the design team for Black Crusade. His written works include A Cursed Setting for Savage Worlds, contributions to the Star Wars Edge of the Empire RPG, which I hear great things about, and the video game Darksiders 2 and Warhammer 40k Regicide. Ross Watson has designed rules and scenarios for miniature game lines such as Dust Warfare, and has written for several card games including Warhammer Invasion. Man, you're a Warhammer guy. Empire Engine, and the Lost Legacy series. And lastly, Robert Trav Pulaski, or Trav as we're going to call him tonight. Trav is the host of the internet radio show Travcast, Hour 3 of Blind Wolf's Rubber Room Association. He is also the co-host of the TriTac podcast and one of the designers for TriTac Games. Wow, that's a big mouthful for everybody. Hey, Mike, cue image 1, please.
Oh, by the way, I'm actually representing, so you know.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
Queuing
So,
Evil
guys-
Beagle
Nice.
Games picture, sir.
welcome to our show, our little hovel on the internet. So I guess the first thing I'd like to talk about, I want to get this out of the way before we start talking about Rift Savage Worlds, Evil Beagle Games. So tell me a little bit about Evil Beagle Games.
All right. Well, I'd worked for lots of other people in the industry for a very long time. At one point, a lot of friends were saying that I should start up a company and start doing my own stuff, and I kept avoiding it. But way back when, I actually had numerous beagles in my life, but one beagle that was rather famous was named Lady. She lived to be about 21, 22 years old. She crossed the country with me a couple of times, and she was very sweet and mellow and easygoing. So, of course, the joke was that she was, the true face of evil.
Right.
So the joke was always that if I ever started a company, it would be called Evil Beagle Games. And while I was working for DriveThruRPG and RPGNow and that whole suite of companies, both as a marketing communications guy and some other stuff with them, I was starting to get asked to start doing a lot of work as a writer and game designer again. And Steve Wick, who's one of the most awesome bosses I've ever had in my life. He's the guy who runs the shop at DriveThru and RPGNow and all that. And people know the name from when he was also one of the guys who ran White Wolf. Anyway, he was trying to decide if he was going to ask me to pull back from the freelance writing and stuff like that, and instead send me to school for marketing, or if he was going to instead encourage me to go back to pursuing writing and design. Then he went and did and actually picked up some of the more recent stuff I'd done. He read through it. And he said, "You know what? It's not even an argument. I believe in you. Here's some additional support for you. Go and make a company and publish stuff." So he kind of kicked me out of the nest, and I started up Evil Beagle Games, and so that was that. And Evil Beagle, we did a few little things here and there. Then I partnered with the Savage Mojo folks to pull out the Shintar stuff. They've taken that over completely now, which is awesome. I'm still involved with that, but they've got that because of all the other stuff going on. We brought Ross Watson on as an additional partner with me and Corinne. Corinne Seabolt, by the way, is our third partner and my belovedest. She is our editor-in-chief and also will be involved in doing some content development in the future. But we brought Ross on as managing director because I can't run a company for crap. We figured that out after my horrible attempt at doing a Kickstarter and anything to do with numbers and money. So Ross has got a lot of project management experience from his days at Fantasy Flight Games, having run the whole Dark Heresy and Warhammer 40K side of things. So he knows what he's doing, and he has elevated us from I'm just fiddling around on the computer and occasionally stick a logo on something and put it out there to we're an actual publishing company. So we've not only got the relationship with Palladium Books and Pinnacle Entertainment and are a third partner in the Savage Rift project, but we just worked with High Rock Press to put together the Aaron Alston Strike Force revival project. We're working with Michael Serbrook, who was the lead writer and researcher on that one, and we're doing Michael Serbrook Presents because he's got a ton of amazing material to publish and put out there. We also partnered with Sasquatch Studios and basically did development work for them. Ross really did all the work. I did like one little thing. He did the lion's share of the work on Savage Thul, Primeval Thul for Savage Worlds. So we're starting to do more and more of those things. We're going to be working with Lakeside Games. We have a lot of strategic relationships just because between Ross and I, we know every single buddy in the game industry. So we have the opportunity to work with everybody in the game industry. And that seems to be our cottage industry now is we're the guys who can do cool stuff working with you.
Right.
So
that's cool. No, that's cool. You might say you wrote the book on it.
Pretty much, yeah. If you're going back to the Fantasy Role-Playing Gamers Bible, that may be one of the things I'm most well known for is that book. Everybody keeps asking me where the third edition is coming out, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Do you see my work list right now?"
Yeah, right. So real quick, we do have a question from a guest. I think it's a joke. I think he's being kind of funny, but he might be serious. Who knows? It says, when do we? This is for you, Sean. When do we get a pro wrestling game for Savage Worlds?
Oh, for God's sake!
You
All
must
right,
be into wrestling, huh?
Yeah.
So I'm known as Big Irish with a local wrestling promotion, not as a wrestler, but as an audience character. Ross has actually been with us for one of the shows, and we have a whole thing called the Interested Parties, where we have this story where we're the guys who are against Titus Machiavelli, who's the evil genius CEO of NRW Wrestling here in Colorado, and it's actually an NWA promotion, so they're a pretty big deal. And we started doing these characters. I'm Big Irish. He's the Big Don because he's Italian and Irish. So we kind of did that whole thing. And there was some talk of when I lost all the weight, started working out, which I have started doing, by the way. You guys are seeing like a lot less of me than people used to see.
Okay.
That was some other talk in the room too.
120 pounds actually since the surgery. So, but anyway, there's a joke about me doing some training, and I might still do it. I don't know. It's a lark. Sometime I might actually do some training so I can actually do like the manager character bumps and stuff. But anyway, as far as the pro wrestling game is concerned, I don't know. I suppose it's just one more thing I can put on the list of maybe. But
yeah,
Hey,
we have some wrestling friends of our show. Huh? Who?
Yeah, John does indeed love a lot of wrestling, so we should get him on board. That was
so
awesome.
it would me, John Wick, and Eddie Webb. Actually, I do. Now that you mentioned, I think that actually would be a hell of a team to work on that because we're all three big time marks for wrestling.
There you go. That'd be badass. All right. So then you have God darn it, Shaintar.
Shintar, yes.
Shaintar. I'm gonna get this right. I swear.
Whoa! Nobody gets to drink. Oh my god.
So Shaintar. Now that I remember way back in the day, that was originally. Wasn't there it was a fusion product, right?
Yes, it was.
So the story of Shintar goes back to 1977.
Okay.
I was running the Keep on the Borderlands, and I came to D&D completely blind. I mean, all I did was read some articles in a magazine, picked up the stuff, started reading it. So I didn't go in with everybody else's attitude. I wanted to do epic storytelling. So the whole dungeon thing was just, I didn't get it. I mean, we did it, but I was like, that doesn't make sense. I want to do epic sweeping, Siege of Gondor and, all kinds of fun stuff like that. And big, the Fellowship. And because Lord of the Rings is big. And then Star Wars and everything else. So anyway, I had to keep on the Borderlands. I didn't know what lands they were on the border of. So I started creating lands for that keep to be on the border of. And that's when Shaintar first started getting built. Okay. And around that, I was trying to get rid of the tropes that didn't make sense to me and make a fantasy world that did make sense to me. And over the years, of course, it just kept building and building and building. And eventually, yes, it was going to be an official fantasy hero project for Hero System 4th Edition.
Okay.
That was its first slated. I mean, I was working with those guys at the time, working on Champions, and it was, they said, yes, let's do it. We'd love to. And then we started working on Fusion. I was like, you know what? I'm into the Fusion thing. I was actually helping develop the Fusion rules. So I was talking about doing it as a Fusion project. And then when I went to work with Obsidian Studios, there was some weird stuff. And basically, I got convinced to incorporate it into the Shards of the Stone project, which some people remember very, very fondly.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so we got kind of incorporated and caught up in that. And unfortunately, because of the way the company fell apart, all the rights still belong to the guy who owned the company. To his credit,
okay,
he called me on a New Year's Day a little while after everything fell apart, and he said, "It's not right. This is yours. I'm giving it back to you. No strings attached." So he just gave it back to me. At that point, I was like, okay. Well, Fusion's dead. I started trying to explore with Action System, but I just wasn't feeling it. And then I spent over a year failing to convert Shaintar to D20 because everyone was trying to do a D20 project. I was like, okay. And I just couldn't. There's a funny story where there's a major mailing list where many of the writers and designers in the industry are all part of this mailing list. And I got on there and I wrote this long diatribe of I cannot find the paradigms. I cannot figure out how to balance new monsters. I cannot figure out how to make a magic system adjust to the way I want it to. Where are the foundational paradigms? And it was like the digital version or the mailing list version of a pin drop, and crickets chirping. It was just nothing. And these were the guys doing OGL D20 were on this list, and I got a back channel communication from one of the major third party publishers saying, if you get an answer, we'd like to hear.
Yeah, right.
Because we're trying to, then these guys were already doing this stuff, and they were wanting to know if I get an answer. And then Sandy Antunes came on and said, this is one of the most cogent essays on trying to develop for D20 I've seen. Do you mind if I republish this? I said, you're welcome to, but it wasn't an essay. It was a cry for help.
Right.
And Shane Hensley, who's been one of my best friends for a very long time, and this segues very nicely into what we're doing now, approached me and he said, give me your address. I'm sending you the core rules for Savage Worlds. I'm sending you a couple other books. And if you want to do Shaintar, go knock yourself out. It's not the kind of stuff we're doing right now because it's called, straight up classic fantasy, but I'd love to see what you do with it. And so I became the first living, licensee without a company for Savage Worlds back in the day.
Nice.
And So and once I discovered Savage Worlds, that was it. There was no going back. That was the system for developing not just that, but all these other things I've wanted to work on.
Oh yeah, I love Savage Worlds. Okay, so it's pretty much the only game I like to run at a convention because it's complicated enough to do cool stuff with, but it's also simple enough that I can sit down and hand people character sheets and go, look, I'm not even going to tell you a whole lot about the game. We're going to play. Just bigger numbers are better. Right, when I put their feats and stuff on their character sheet, I put a little description next to what it does. I was like, it tells you what it does, and I'll help you through the process. I just want to start rolling dice and playing. You'll pick it up as we go. It'll take like 5 minutes.
I would argue that the word complicated is not the right word here. Complex. It is complex enough to absorb lots of different concepts, but simple enough to just drop right in and teach.
Yeah.
And it's also very, very fast to prepare. The thing that blew me away was that not only was it fun for a player, but it was an amazing fun game system and designed to be a fun game for GMs so they could quickly put something together. But the best part for me was how fast and easy it is to design for. The number of things, and I know Ross feels the same way when he's had a number of books now where he's just had to dive in and just do crap tons of development. Primeval Thule, right, Ross? And the Savage Foes of Nuhan. So, I think we both agree on the fact that it is such a dream to design and develop for, on top of everything else. So there's pretty much no looking back.
Right. That's cool. So, and I think it's probably what you were looking for in Fusion, even before it fell apart, because Fusion sort of had that thing going on, but it just never seemed to. It didn't take. It had issues, and for whatever reason, I'm not.
I think Fusion was groundbreaking. I think it led the way towards what we were trying to do. You're right. It didn't hit, but it's kind of like Edward Catmull, in his Creativity Inc. And then a lot of others who talk about this kind of thing is sometimes you have to fail to succeed. You have to fail in certain ways to find that what's going to work, and then move on to the next thing that does work. And I think it's okay to have some failures out there that help you get to a place that succeeds.
I can actually shed some light on this. I host a podcast called The Gamer's Tavern, and we just recently interviewed Mike Pondsmith, the creator of Fusion. And according to Mike, what really destroyed Fusion was that D20 rolled out less than a year after Fusion was on the market and just steamrollered it because it was doing a very similar approach of this one system with multiple settings underneath it.
Okay.
So according to Pondsmith, a lot of it just really, really bad timing.
We love Mike Kafis on our show, and Mike Pondsmith and I we're buddies, and back at the last not this last Total Con, but the one before that, Mike Pondsmith actually gave Mike Kafis the shirt off his back, like literally. Wow. The shirt he was wearing was a Cyberpunk shirt. And it was one of the ones for the video game that you can't get anywhere. And Mike liked it, and Pondsmith just he came up to him and was like, "Hey, Mike, come here. Here, I want you to have this." I was just like, "What?"
It was insane.
So anyway, so real quick, Ross, that led on to my next point. I just wanted you to get a chance to mention Gamer's Tavern. So Gamer's Tavern is your podcast?
It is a podcast that I host. Actually belongs to the producer Daryl Mott Jr.
Okay.
He used to do Ain't It Cool News tabletop. But yeah, the two of us have been running it for about 3-4 years now, I think, and it's been going pretty well.
All right, excellent. And is it like a weekly podcast?
Well, we just came back from a really long hiatus due to a lot of things, so we're trying to get back to a bi-weekly schedule.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it's tough, especially when you're doing things like Kickstarters and all that kind of stuff.
I got 4 this year alone.
Nice. All right. Well, Mike, Mr. Kafis.
Yep.
Cue image 2, please, sir.
Queuing image 2, sir.
So let's dig into Rift Savage Worlds. I know people are dying to talk about that. So real quick, one of my background questions, because as I was reading through, I forget who it was. Somebody wrote something on one of the pages, had a lot of information, and it mentioned this is a post-Tolkien Rift's Earth as the base setting. What is that exactly? Because I'm not familiar with.
Well, and that could be very
Grab what
confusing.
we're talking about.
It could be very confusing when you say it with only that and nothing else.
Right.
Because it's not Tolkien as in, okay, this is Lord of the Rings, but it's not that. No, there's a magic kingdom named Tolkien, spelled Tolkeen, and that kingdom and the war between that kingdom and the coalition, basically what I call the coalition empire, but it's the coalition states, that ultimately, and they span like 7 books and a bunch of sideline things as well, and so it's very long, very involved, very major event in the Rift setting. We are just after Tolkien has fallen, and the refugees are still escaping from that, and coalition states are taking over that area, and the world, North America has changed dramatically politically because of this. So we're in the aftermath of that, and we're establishing a new faction called the Tomorrow Legion and Castle Refuge, who are trying to, originally they were oriented around, trying to rescue some more of the refugees, but now they're also about trying to protect the world and make the world a better place in the face of the machinations of the True Federation of Magic under the insane Lord Dunstan, as well as the constant expansionism of the Coalition Empire. So,
amongst others.
And then there's the Pecos Empire and the Republicans and all these other factions, and so there's lots of people, to ruin the Tomorrow Legion's day, but the Tomorrow Legion gives us a really cool structure.
Well, it's weird because Tolkien being gone, I guess you could call it a power vacuum. Because Tolkien was a pretty big player as far as just the use of magic. And them being gone, all these other players that use magic, plus the Coalition who just, no, they're not magic at all. Yeah, they're just going to be scrambling to try to pick up pieces and go after certain people that might have escaped the war.
Right. So, I mean...
It was this really major historical event. I mean, it was one of the most significant events in Rifts for years and years, and we decided to build off of that because there was an awful lot of stuff going on there, and as Sean said, it just provided a great backdrop for us to introduce this concept of the core activity for Savage Rifts is that you're part of the Tomorrow Legion working with them. It gives you context for who your character is and what they're doing and why you're interested in that.
Okay, cool.
So the whole idea there is that we wanted to create an adventuring paradigm, a phrase that Ross really introduced me to, and I believe in it thoroughly, which is the reason like for Shintar had the Grey Rangers, which was an organization that got disparate and interesting and eclectic heroes together and sent them out to do cool things in the world. Well, we want to do something similar, and those who played original Rifts, there's the jokes about, we were basically high-tech murder hobos, or, just rampaging mercenaries who occasionally maybe took a job for the right reasons, but more or less we were just trying to scavenge everything we grabbed so we could buy more ammo. And we just felt like it might be more interesting to focus on a reason to get characters together to be heroes and do, big damn hero things. And Kevin loves this, by the way. He was just one of the first things he fell in love with when we first started talking about the project. He just fell completely in love with it. He said, this is something that Rifts has needed all along. Good job. This is cool. Nice. So we knew we were on the right track right then. But for those of our audience who don't even really know that much about Rifts, I like to say, if you could imagine a post-apocalyptic setting that incorporates super magic, dragons, demons, cybernetic ninjas, high-tech, power armor and robot armor, pilots, and post-humanism, and a melange of everything and anything, including a completely weaponized kitchen sink, all with essentially superheroic power levels. That's Rifts. Big guns, big magic, go Gonzo. And that's the Rift setting, and it came out in the 90s. It shows that thoroughly. It's a definitive 90s project. Yeah. And we're going back to that, and we're trying to bring that forward into a different game system. And there's lots of people who love Rifts and love playing it on the Palladium system, and they are go you, have a great time. Yep. But one of the things that attracted Kevin to this idea was introducing Rifts to a whole new generation of players who may have heard of it but have never played, and that rule set isn't going to appeal to them because they are brought up into a new kind of gaming or a new set of they're into different kinds of rules. Or original players for whom that rule set did not quite click for them. But now here's a new avenue, and so it's bringing people back as well as introducing it to a whole new audience of players. This is something that really appealed to him and appeals to us, and that's where we are with it.
That was something I wanted to ask. And I'm coming in as huge RIFTS fan. I don't know. I have the Explorer Handbook, the Superhero Companion, and the Science Fiction Companion. Just timing. I'm running 4 campaigns myself now. Could someone that doesn't know anything about RIFTS just boom? Okay, this is it.
One of the things that I have to admit I'm very proud of. Yeah, I'm going to definitely polish the knuckles on this one.
Hey,
is that I received an amazing compliment. So did Ross. Ross and I both, and the whole team. I mean, this is a real team effort. Okay, there's a lot of people involved in this, but one of the compliments that we received is how pleased Kevin is with the fact that we took the essence of what is going on in the world of RIFTS and all the factions and the story and everything else, and we've lost Ross.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys can pull him back in. But we received the compliment that he was extremely pleased by how we had managed to boil it all down and succinctly present the world, its factions, its story, the various entities that you can encounter, the monsters, all these write-ups. They're not as elaborate as you will find in these books, because there's over 100 books for RIFTS.
Oh yeah,
and lots of detail, and they are going to still remain fantastic source material for people who want to delve into a particular concept. But you can pick up Savage RIFTS Player's Guide, and that book alone, as a player, will give you everything you need to understand and dive into the world of RIFTS. We put a lot of succinct but very important information to bring you there. And then as a game master, and Ross wrote a lot of the game master information about the factions and the world of North America primarily, although we also cover some other areas. And again, we gave a lot of information that the GM can dive in, and without any other book, they will be able to very effectively and confidently run a game set in the world of RIFTS. And then for those who really, really want to delve further into just the much more elaborate information, then they can go to all these books that are in the RIFTS library, and just the narrative information there will just expand even further.
Oh no, Kevin Sabia, that's one of the things I love about the system. Everybody's had their problems with RIFTS mechanics. I've read the forums. Fantastic storyteller though. Just the setting itself, and all play. We're talking Heroes Unlimited, and even the old Mechanoid Invasion trilogy that was on newspaper print. I've got the first 2 books. That was my first role-playing ever. Fantastic storyteller. I can't say that enough about Kevin. So it's like, yeah, the fact that RIFTS has just grown like this is amazing. And what, you said 100 books? Yeah, I think probably about half of them are in my living room right now.
Okay, so hey, let's get this. Our room is getting backed up here, real quick.
Oh my God! I told you guys this was going to happen.
That's fine.
A lot of questions.
Let's shoot through these as fast as we can. So
yeah, and hold on. And Sean, this is rapid fire question answering, okay?
Bring it. I know Ross has had my back. He's actually been in the chat room answering.
Right.
Thank you, Ross.
Okay, so Baby Dragon. The thing keeps jumping down every time somebody asks a question. It jumps.
I hate that.
Baby Dragons and. Crap! I just had it here, and then somebody asked.
Okay, all right. I know. I can.
Shifters and Baby Dragons.
Shifters and Baby Dragons. There we go.
Okay, so there's some things I have to be cagey about, but if you pay attention to how I say this, you'll get the message.
So listen between the lines.
All your desires are in front of us. Okay, pay attention to the Kickstarter. Support the Kickstarter, and lots of things that you want will be.
Okay, very good, very good.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
All your desires belong to us.
Right.
Let's put it this way: there was a lot of discussion about what could go in the core books, and with the format that we are sticking to, because it does work. These 96-page books, we had to make some decisions about what could have space versus what could not. We had all the iconic frameworks, was what we're calling the translation of the OCCs. We had all the gear, the cybernetics, the special magic rules, and everything else. So there was only so much could go in a singular core book. But there were a lot of discussions about what RIFTS fans were going to want, and I can simply say those discussions, bore fruit, and so we are going to have ways to be sure that we are fulfilling desires. You're just going to have to pay attention to the Kickstarter and support the Kickstarter, and the things that you want will be.
All right, cool, very cool.
And let's see.
Here's the one.
Oh, go ahead.
What's up, Mike?
No, go ahead. If you got a question, go ahead. I'm just been watching them too.
Okay, so there's this one's a little long. Let's see if we can do it quickly though. I'm struggling with a problem as a developer. Oh God damn it, room. Myself. I just had it. Give me a second here. Okay, RIFTS. From this problem as a developer myself, RIFTS always feels like a sweet but sweeping sandbox. It was always hard to answer what the back of the box intended us to do as players. Its bulk was more about setting books, and even with the core RIFTS books.
Yeah, we just talked about that. That's the
Tomorrow
Legion.
Got it.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Ross.
very good.
Go ahead, Ross.
No, we answered that. It's a Tomorrow Legion, and he's in the chat. He was like, okay, I want to find out more about this adventure.
Yeah, okay, very good.
But yeah, the basic idea is you know what, Ross? Let's take a little detour. I think you should tell them your formula when you ask a designer what his game is about, how he should answer it, because I think this is useful information for anybody involved in gaming, and it is a question that we asked and answered for ourselves when we went into this project. So go for it.
All right, we'll caveat this does not work for every game, but for many RPG games, my formula goes is this. If someone asks you, what is your game about, you should be able to tell them what the core conflict is, what the adventuring paradigm, or what Robin Laws likes to call it, the core activity is, what is it we're supposed to be doing, and activity. Yeah, those are the two main ones. And then the third one is like, are there any important characters that we need to know? Like, I guess if you were asking me about Forgotten Realms, I might say, well, and then there's Elminster and the Harpers, and that's a big deal, and that's going on. Or I might say,
there was also the part about who opposes you, right?
That's the core conflict. Yeah. What happens if you stay home and do nothing?
Yeah.
That's really that question. Like, because if there's some games I've actually talked to the designer, and he's like, well, if you stay at home and do nothing, I mean, nothing really changes. And I'm like,
Here's a good question. Here's a good question. Dave Verbert asks. He said, "What was the most challenging thing to translate from RIFTS to Savage RIFTS, and what was your favorite thing?"
Oh dear God. Okay,
my favorite thing was juicers.
Yeah.
So juicers. That was another question. Someone was asking, did juicers make the cut? So to answer that question, then yes, right?
You cannot have RIFTS without juicers. Okay,
well,
so
there
let me
you
just
go.
be clear. Everything that was important to the original RIFTS book is present in the player's guide in terms of the what you could play, with the exception of I'm just going to go ahead and say this, and if I get in trouble, so be it. But we didn't do shifters. We relegated them to at this point a savage foe, because their primary focus and their primary presentation, they're pretty much demon summoning bad guys. That doesn't mean there won't be a way to do a shifter. In fact, anybody with half a clue about Savage Worlds will automatically be able to figure out how to do an iconic framework once they go to the Savage Foes book. But I'm not saying that they won't end up in a future book. And as I say, there's plenty of books planned already. But that was the one I decided not to worry about, because I was focusing kind of on the original lineup. So sort of a combination of the original RIFTS book and then a little bit of the Ultimate Edition. But the Glitter Boy's there, the Juicer, the Crazy. The Mind Melter, the Burster, the Leyline Walker, the Techno Wizard, all of those guys are there. Now we focused on humans, right? It's going to be extremely easy to do DBs of any kind in any nature you want. Just grab the Sci-Fi Companion and use the race creation rules out of that.
Okay.
But there will be DBs published. I'm telling you that right now as well. So, and there will be races and all kinds of options, and it's all coming. But I'm just saying, anything that doesn't appear immediately, you're going to have the option of figuring. It'll be extremely easy for you to figure out how to do it. But as far as the original question of David Vibert, just flat out, this has been the most challenging design project of my life, beyond any question. Over a quarter century doing this, and I've never faced a challenge like this before. This, keeping the essence of what is RIFTS and ensuring and fighting for making it be RIFTS with a system that doesn't blow up as Gonzo. It's not known for blowing up quite as Gonzo. Savage Worlds, right? It's an incredibly great game. It has fantastic cinematic action, but it's great for horror. It's great for everything else. But oh my God, big dice of damage. Oh my God, crazy armor. It's there. The rules are there. I had to go through and find the bits and pieces and really make them work. And I had to figure out how to work, power armor in, yes, with dragons and all this other kind of stuff, and making all of that work. Wow. It's almost impossible for me to say, one thing, because it's a matter of all of it having to integrate. right? How do I take this idea and make this idea? Because one of the things that RIFTS almost militantly, and the RIFTS fans militantly stand on this, is it's charming, this is cool. Is it balance? Forget balance. You know, they tend to approach RIFTS as, you know, that's its thing, and this guy over here, the vagabond with a shotgun, is his thing, and you make it work or you don't. And that's great for a lot of people, but for Savage Worlds players and the expectation of a Savage Worlds game, equivalent, not dead equal, not cookie cutter the same, but equivalent player agency is incredibly important to this game system and to its fan base. So I had to take these ideas from RIFTS and make them still sing as Gonzo RIFTS ideas, but under the paradigm of a system that demands that everyone has equivalent agency, equivalent access to influence and impact on the game. Well, that's been a crazy challenge. I would...
If you want to pick one thing that we had the most conversations about, and maybe we spent a long time focusing on this to get it right, was the idea of how to incorporate the idea of mega damage.
Which is funny.
Ask about that.
Which is funny, because it's actually the simplest answer, and yet it wasn't the simplest answer. So when I first got the deal, and this was years ago, by the way, this thing's been in development for years. I was still with DriveThruRPG. I was still living in Alabama at the time, and I drove to Michigan because I was part of business development, and I drove to Michigan to sit down in person with Kevin because I'd been friends with him, and I'd been begging him to get his books on as PDF, and he was refusing to do it. I said, Kevin, you're leaving money on the table. I promise you will sell books. You will make so much money if you just put these things up as PDFs on DriveThru. And he's like, you know what? If I come up there and show you, will you consider? He said, sure. So I drove up there. And I sat down with him in Michigan, and I showed it to him, and I eventually, I convinced him. I said, here, just take your oldest stuff, the stuff you barely have in stock anymore, because one of his biggest concerns was pilfering his book sales. And I said, just take your oldest stuff that's not selling anymore, put that up first, and watch what happens. Anyway, I convinced him. He was in a good mood about it. He thought it was going to be really cool. He was excited to go forward with it. And I said, you know what, while you're in a good mood, I have this other idea I want to talk to you about. So anyway, and by the way, people keep asking me, how did you get Kevin to do it? I said, I asked. We're friends. I've always shown him respect. And, I showed him respect. I respectfully presented the idea. I told him this is why I think it would be a cool idea, and he said, let's try it. So anyway, I'm in the car totally fanboying out with Clint Black on the phone as I'm talking, as I'm driving south through Ohio. And, of course, one of the first things we talked about was mega damage. He says, well, the obvious answer is, heavy armor and heavy weapons. Well, you know what? Years later, we were still hammering that thing back and forth, and we were not. We refused to just say that's it. We made ourselves go through the exercise of, does this work? Will this actually work? And, in what ways does it change things, and what ways does it make it work? So, there was the whole thing about, is it a tank? That was Ross's, idea. Ross put that forward. And I eventually cribbed that to say, if it walks like a tank and talks like a tank, it's a duck. I'm in a tank. That's where we went with it. And, but we were willing to make the change to say that not every gun has to do mega damage. Not every suit of armor has to be MDC. If it is a tank attacking gun, then it does mega damage. If it is a tank-like, thing like a glitter boy or a robot armor, it has MDC. Super powerful casters can spend more of their energy to make their armor have MDC quality. Almost everybody could pick up a weapon, though most of them have snapfire penalties, so they're not the ideal for firefights, but they're really, so grenade launcher that's firing mega damage grenades, or a plasma ejector. It's not as effective, it's not as easy to carry and shoot, but it's really good against, a UAR-1 enforcer. The one thing Ross actually really encouraged, we were talking about it, I threw it out there, he said, we really should do this because, and that was making almost all the melee weapons mega damage. And the reason for that is because Savage Worlds works brilliantly for hand-to-hand and melee combat. It's got all those great edges for it and everything, so we thought, let's reward the melee-oriented characters by ensuring that all their weapons do mega damage. So my laser rifle, I'm going to do crap against that. Time to draw the chainsword and go, just get me closer. I want to hit it with my chainsword. Well, and that actually works in RIFTS.
Vibro blades and whatnot, yeah.
Right. Yeah. But vibro blades are mega damage. The short version is basically this. You need a mega damage weapon to harm mega damage armor. But a mega damage weapon used against non-mega damage armor doesn't really have extra effect. It's already a powerful weapon.
Right. So you don't take extra damage if you're not. If you're wearing Huntsman armor, Granted, it's not it's tissue paper against a railgun, but almost everything is tissue paper against a railgun. You don't take extra damage because you didn't have MDC.
Right.
Okay. Very cool. All right, so you're not just splattered.
Right.
Okay.
But the best part is you can because it's Savage Worlds and the concept of extras, a group of 5 guys with some laser rifles and some grenades up against a platoon of 20 20 dead boys, and you can do that battle, and it's going to be really cool.
Okay, here's a true question coming talking about magic users. Do magic users get buffed by being on ley lines or other areas near the Nexus?
Absolutely, and that was going back to David's question. There was an area I had to struggle with for a while. It was how to translate and make that work. And the first thing was, how do we make the magic users badass enough under Savage Worlds rules to hang and bang with a glitter boy, to hang and bang with a UA enforcer, to hang and bang with these other things. So I did borrow from myself somewhat from my Shintar work. I had come up with the concept of high magic for Legends Unleashed, which was the heroic and legendary book for that setting, and that was basically taking base powers and then adding awesome stuff to them. If you spent more energy, you could do a bigger thing and a more powerful thing with the power. So I took that idea and alongside with Clint Black, he and I sat down with it, simplified it massively. And I kind of wish I'd done it that way, in Legends Unleashed now, but it doesn't matter. You just keep improving your craft. But anyway, for the rough estimate here is that the arcane casters, if they roughly speaking, if they're masters of magic, they have mega trappings, and mega trappings are the special trappings that go to each power. So each power has a mega trapping, and if you spend double, you get double. So for example, if you have armor and you're a master of magic, you can spend double the in this case PPE, because we use the names PowerPoints or PowerPoints or PowerPoints, but PPE is potential psychic energy, and it's all the arcanists use, and then there's ISP, which is their strength points, and that's what psionicists use, and those are 2 separate pools, but they're power points for purposes of the mechanics of the game. So if you spend 4 instead of 2 PPE, and you cast Exalted Armor, and Exalted Armor gives you 4 or 8 on a raise, right, instead of the 2 or 4, and most of the powers work like that, or they get some other really cool extra effect, because some of them don't exactly work that way. So
Exalted Armor is mega damage, isn't it?
Well, you have to add additional 4.
It can be mega damage. Okay.
It can be mega damage. So any armor or barrier you can spend more points. So we did juice up, and the psionics have access to what are called master psionic powers, which are basically superpowers for all intents and purposes. So we jacked all the spellcaster types up so that they are in the same ballpark, and they're raising just the same kind of gonzo hell as a guy with a railgun does. Now, on a ley line, yes, it gets even more interesting. And I did go through and I picked apart the core rules the way it was done in RIFTS, and I found the right way to translate that. So, for example, psionicists don't get more power, but if they're at least major psionics, they have a cool thing they can do. They have a cool thing they can do by spending ISP to enhance their ability to hit or to increase their range, and the effects of that double if they're on a ley line. So they get some effect for being on a ley line. But arcane casters, they get all kinds of cool stuff. Basically, a mystic or any other arcanist on a ley line can spend an action and roll their magic skill, and they can draw additional energy, and they basically double their current pool of points while they're on that ley line. Whereas ley line walkers, because that's their godhood, basically, as a free action, they can make that roll. So every round on a ley line, they can free action draw power, and they can up to triple their PP pool while they're on the ley line.
One thing that was important to us was to make sure that the psionics and magic, in Savage World, psionics and magic are basically just trappings, and they use the same powers and all that. It was important to us to make, in Savage Rifts, to make psionics and magic feel different and have slightly different effects, so that you are special when you're a mind melter, and you're not just basically a ley line walker with different abilities. And the same thing's true for the ley line walker. We definitely worked hard to make them feel distinct, I think is the word we're looking for there. And I think we did really well with that.
All right, so we've got some people digging here for stuff that you may not want to share yet. But,
well, if we're talking about some of the things with the Kickstarter itself and the stretch goals and all that, I know that Sean said he was going to get to that, so I was going to wait for that for the proper moment. What else do we got going on here? There's a lot of chitter chatter. I think And I thought that there was another show we did recently that it was hopping in there, but man, you guys really have it hopping, and we appreciate that.
Yeah,
So,
we did. It's
And I'm seeing some really good questions in there too. It's like,
I might have accidentally, tapped my rather extensive network to get.
well, we might like to tap your network too.
You guys know I do the Sean's pick of the day. I have a pretty megaphone, so.
I think we want to answer the questions, but for me, I want to hear from Trav because he's the RIFTS guy.
Yeah.
And he's been hearing what we've been saying all this time. I'm really curious to see what he thinks about it so far.
most of these questions have been asked. I'm sitting there just putting an X. Okay, that one's been answered. That one's been. Okay, so there's 4. I saw on the ads on Facebook 4 books: the Tomorrow Legion Player's Guide, Savage Foes of North America, the GM Handbook, and the Garnet Town Gambit. I take that's an adventure.
It's the GM screen adventure, yeah.
Ross wrote that one.
Okay, so other than the basic Savage Worlds book, those 4 books, you're good. I mean, if you get like the science fiction companion of the superhero, it might help out a little, or just those 4 books.
You will not need anything but the core Savage Worlds book in those books if you want to be a RIFTS guy, and just understand that those are the 4 core books that we've talked about so far.
Okay.
He said with a grin.
Now, you were mentioning about trying to translate things over. So, yeah, you had to do it like, let's say I have a favorite RIFTS character, a guy I've been playing for years, and I want to be able to translate this over to the Savage Worlds mechanic.
Ooh.
I take it it's going to be an eyeballing, or will there be a set guide set up?
Understand this. Translation is the word, not conversion. Do not approach this as conversion. People, I'll go ahead and say right now, people have been asking about conversion guides. That's not how this works. That's not how Savage Worlds works.
Yeah. No.
You interpret and translate.
Yeah.
That's the way Savage Worlds works, is you find the best way to express it. Now, I struggled, and I'm so far from people's responses. I've succeeded, and Ross has helped me, and we've all succeeded in effectively maintaining the flavor and the gonzo essence of RIFTS while translating this stuff. But it's still Savage Worlds. It is a Savage Worlds game. So there are changes that needed to be considered, like the fact that not everything does mega damage and not everything is MDC armor.
Right.
So there's a few things like that. But I think we still kept the essence. Now, as far as if there's something you want to play from a much further down the road RIFTS book, then what you're going to have to do is look at the closest approximation that exists. Like if it's a powered armor guide, you're going to want to look at how we handle robot armor or powered armor, or look at what we did with the Glitter Boy, and then you're going to be able to fairly easily at that point extrapolate. And the idea is try desperately, just do not try to do an exact one for one. Go for the essence of what the character should be. Compare that essence to the essence of the other characters, and that's true for anything. Like people
a lot of eyeballing, yeah.
People who do Savage Star Wars, right? Because there's no, we don't have the Star Wars license, and we're not going to for, who knows ever. But people do play Star Wars using Savage Worlds, and they just interpret and translate the ideas over, and there's lots of really good ways that they do that. And I've seen Savage everything. Clint's famous for running basically, I was at Sharko Croco-Gator versus, Dolphin Source. I don't know what it's called, but anyway, the sci-fi movie. So just take the idea and make a best faith effort to make it work. And the other idea, of course, is don't give in to the desire to make yours so much more powerful than the others. Just make it interesting and make it cool.
I know that there are the 4 ranks. There's novice and then legendary. Trying to have a novice character and a legendary character. You mentioned it earlier, where you try to have everybody all on that same level, and just because I said, okay, I know that RIFTS, one of the big races in RIFTS are the Atlanteans, the true Atlanteans. Mm-hmm. I looked up in the base book how Atlanteans are done. I'm going, okay, yeah, these are going to be different. So that would be where you'd have to eyeball. Well, Atlanteans weren't really in the base.
Well,
that was a book that came down the line.
Every one of those ultimately is going to be a choice on our part as to whether or not we're going to either turn that into an iconic framework, or if we're going to do it as a race. Okay. Now, for those who are within a certain reasonable level of just a few variations off of human. Now, I mean, if you look at Sci-Fi Companion, there's constructs. You can totally play a construct as a race, and there's a lot going on with those. There's a lot you can do with race building, and as long as you ultimately get it balanced out to the right level, it can be a race. Yeah. Whereas there's certain things, dragons, that pretty much demand that they're going to have to be an iconic framework, which means they're going to stand alone with their own set of, their super powerful abilities, and that's going to, establish them. So when we get around to looking at Atlanteans, for example, we'll take a look at that and we'll decide, is there enough going on with these that they need to be an iconic framework? I don't think so. Based on what I've read already, I think I can do them as a race, because they should be able to also, take up other, paths. As a race, you could then take up an iconic framework. If I do them as an iconic framework, you can't double up on those, so that would restrict them needlessly. So, but in each case, you're going to have to look at that. And again, understand, RIFTS expresses everything in very exacting terms. Like, they have these 5 different abilities that under Savage Worlds rules may really just be one ability, in a more generalized sense. Okay. So that will actually simplify things considerably.
So here's a follow-up question too, from somebody in the chat room, and that was that were you beholden to any veto? The guy who did it, I'm sorry, the guy who kind of gave you the rights or whatever, were you beholden to any of his vetoes, or did he give you free reign?
All right, so
I just
Kevin,
that in the chat too.
Yeah, well, Ross, go ahead.
I just said Palladium is the license holder,
Okay.
so we worked very closely with them, and that means we were given a lot of freedom to design things for the setting, such as the Tomorrow Legion. But it's really important to all of us, really, to make sure that everything we do fits into the themes and tropes that have already been established in RIFTS. So it was a partnership. We worked together on this, and that means, of course, there were things that Palladium were like, well, this doesn't really fit, and then Palladium would then suggest something to us, and we'd be like, okay, and and we put it in there. So just like any combination, it had its give and take, but it worked out really well.
And here's the thing: Kevin's been fantastic to work with.
Okay.
I say that with all sincerity. There have been disagreements. There have been, no, I can't approve that. I need you guys to change it. But that was his right to do so, and we went in and found a way to do it better. But he has not been he's not been obstructive. In fact, he has been very constructive. He has been very supportive. He's like, hey, I think you guys should do this because it would be cooler. And he's like, so he's been very open. He's been very, attentive to art, for example. He wants to make sure that when the fans see a piece of art that they recognize and know that that's the thing that they love. Right. And we respect that. We understand that. So there's been a lot of back and forth on that. He's definitely suggested.
RIFTS art is iconic. The
right.
stuff it's iconic. So you're really going to.
But he's also. He's been awesome about saying thank you for adding to the milieu. Thank you for adding to the amount of awesome art that exists out there for the setting now. So he's been very supportive of that and very excited about the stuff that we brought, as well. So it has been an extraordinarily good relationship. He's not been obstructionist. He's not been a roadblock. He has been anything but. He's been a real joy to work with.
And what about Shane? Has Shane been?
That guy, I can't stand him. I'm done. Oh my God! Now Shane, let me be. Like I said, Shane's one of my best friends in the world. All right, so that's why I'm going to totally give him shit. But Shane, we've had the ability to do this for a long time.
Right.
Shane is very, very smart.
Yeah.
Very smart man. He's one of the smartest men in this industry. He's going to hate me for saying that because he hates it being bragged on. But he's very wise. So he knew that we needed to time this right. He was not going to let us do it when we were in the middle of the things that were going to take away. So we were slow and steady wins the race. We plotted and we planned, and we finally figured out when the right time to pull the trigger on this was. And then Shane said, "Okay, Sean, Ross, I'm getting out of the way. Go make this happen." And he's been in the background cheering us on. He stepped in to say, "Maybe you want to look at this. What do you think about this idea?" But then he's been, but you guys are the experts. I don't know this setting. You guys do. I'm counting on you. And it's actually been almost, I'm a little nervous about how much of what we've created. He said, "Okay, I'm trusting you." I'm like, there's been some times I'm like, Jane, I think it'd feel better if you nixed a few things so I know that, if this blows up, at least you could take some of the blame too. I'm kidding. But
he's like, no, you got this. It's all good. I'll be accountable. But
it has been a team effort. It has been very much a partnership. But now Shane is just, let's just say, the day I put on my Pinnacle shirt was one of the proudest days of my life, and I still get a little choked up when I think about it. I love being a part of that company. I love being a part of that partnership and that relationship. They're an amazing team, and I'm incredibly proud. Everything you love, it falls on the fact that this has been an amazing team effort, and anything you don't like, it's probably my fault.
Oh, God.
So
I basically have one more question. Out of all the stuff, it's a techno-wizardry. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, as I said, there might be people who don't know about the saying that they're coming in on this. Basically, it's techno magic. You might have like a lightning bolt shaped gun or rifle that fires the lightning bolt spell. And it takes a particular type of mage to make that type of weapon. What is that going to be right there in the beginning stuff?
So Cyber Knights and Techno Wizards were my two favorite concepts from
Okay.
RIFTS. And I had some personal frustrations back in the day because I did not feel like they sang in the way I wanted them to. So you might think that when I approached this project, I was going to make sure that my Cyber Knights and my Techno Wizards were going to be awesome. And then we, of course, made sure everything else was awesome too. I will say I'm pretty proud. Clint Black and I had a long round and round and round about how to make the Techno Wizards really, really sing. And he pointed the way, thanks to actually, and I'll go ahead and drop a huge hint here, Deadlands, Wasted West, and the Junkers provided a incredible solution for how to make the Techno Wizards truly badass. See, I did not want them to be so fiddly that it just felt like drudgery and work to get them to where they were doing cool stuff. I wanted to make it a fun, cool, easy access way. You know, they can make cool stuff. They can do amazing things with machines. So yes, the Techno Wizards have the weird science thing going on. Their magic is done through devices. They also can very, very quickly gadgeteer new devices as needed. So they don't start out with the same, oh my god, power that a Leyline Walker or a Mystic has, but they have flexibility that those characters cannot touch. They can say, what do we need? I can make that.
Oh, yeah, because the Techno Wizard, they got a list of spells in the RUE, the Rift's Ultimate Edition, but
Right. No,
it's very limited, small, low-level spells, and then from there to build stuff.
We did change them. We changed it to where it's just, it uses the weird science. They need a device, but they have all these cool devices they start with, and then they can make more devices as they go and as they need them, including rapid gadgeteering to create the device they need at the moment that they need it. I'm really thrilled, and I've had people playing Techno Wizards. I've actually been running this thing called the Odd Squad, which involves Savage Worlds settings, other settings, and characters from those settings coming into the Rift world and then coming together and adventuring together. So there's a golem named Rupert the Wise from the Accursed setting, who was an alchemist, he was an alchemist and tinkering and stuff. So when he came to the Rift setting, he became a Techno Wizard. And I've seen that character played brilliantly. I mean, totally take the scenario and come up with the solutions and just do amazing things. So yeah, we wanted to simplify the gameplay with them while still maintaining the essence of who they are. And I think you're not only going to be thrilled with the core book presentation of what a Techno Wizard can do as an adventurer, but some of the additional stuff that may bubble up through the Kickstarter might present some additional cool stuff that you can then enhance your Techno Wizard experience with.
Yeah, definitely keep an eye on the Kickstarter for a lot of additional content beyond just what you guys know about so far.
Very cool. Hey, so I just wanted to mention this. You guys have already answered this in the chat room, but it was asked, and I think it's a good thing to share with anybody who's watching the show.
I've completely lost track of the chat room, so
right. It's fine. No, Ross has been killing it.
Yeah.
So one of the things
thank you, brother.
People have asked, they've said, like how done is this? How long is it going to take once the Kickstarter kicks off? And Ross has replied with, we are 99% done.
Jody Black has promised that people are going to start getting their PDFs in June, and there's no backing away from that promise.
Nice. So people will be able to take stuff to Gen Con.
Yes. As far as the physical books are concerned, there's always the vagaries that go with that, and we're not going to make any promises there.
Right.
But
I would never bet against Jody Black's instincts when it comes to this stuff.
No.
Right.
We've been, because let's be fair. People have been saying, "Hey, you guys originally said we're going to see this at the end of the year last year," and it was, and we ended up pushing. Now, part of it is there was some illnesses. Part of it is I ended up having major surgery, and Shane was more concerned with my health than he was about anything else. So that figured into it. But really, we've just been working because right was more important than fast, and we've felt that way. But there's no way we were not going to launch there's no way we were going to launch this until we were ready, and we are ready. Pinnacle has a track record. They're not going to risk that. We weren't going to risk that. So all I can tell you is, I'm still working, but the work is on, promotion and Kickstarter and everything else, and then this is the last little, but stuff's been in the. We're good, guys. I promise you, we're good. Okay,
That's fantastic.
We're in good shape on these books, I promise.
I know there's a lot of people who be excited about that because people
This thing
going
keeps timing me out, man.
keep going to what the chat room. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does that. I don't know what to do about that. That's something I can't control.
Oh God, Shane's in there.
Yep.
Shane, oh yeah, he is. Hi.
He said, I hear he's very handsome too.
Now, I am in so much trouble now.
All right, so we are coming up on just past 35 minutes. So, Sean, if there, you said before, you said you had a lot of really interesting things that you were going to share. Some things. Do you feel like you've shared enough, or is there some more tidbits you want to throw at people so that they can get excited about this?
All right.
I mean, I don't know. The room seems to think maybe there's some more that you could throw at them. So.
Oh, there's Shane sitting there.
We're already giving away a lot now.
Yeah, Shane said it was fine. He said it was fine. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's right there, somewhere in there.
Yes. See, yeah, I see. Yes. So that means that's a go.
Yeah, I don't see any. I don't see. So okay.
No, Shane said
I've already pretty much said it. So I'm just going to reiterate that there's been a lot of conversation in a lot of places from a lot of RIFTS fans about, am I going to have my insert this cool concept from the early days here? And I say from the early days because remember we're starting at the foundation.
Yeah, right.
And then this is a line that's going to have a lot of legs. I expect Savage Rifts to be the main part of my life for quite some time now, and I'm okay with that because it is a massively. I'm honored to be in the seat I'm in with this thing. I'm honored to be working with the people I am. I'm honored to have this to go forward with. So it's going to be really, really awesome. So you can assume we're going to go a lot of really cool places with this stuff. But for what people would expect to see if they were looking at the original books, the original stuff, and the foundational stuff, the things that the thing is, I forgot to mention that Shane has a thing he installed, and my brain might explode any second.
Yeah, he said finger on the kill switch.
Get your head exploding on air.
Oh, yeah, so you'll at least get a scanner's moment if nothing else.
Ratings.
I like you and everything, but this is a show and it's cool. And if that happened,
how about
so awesome.
I'm just going to say this. There was a lot of back and forth. Do we need to worry about this now? Yes, I said we need to worry about some of these things now because their fans are going to want to see these things. And I will simply say, if you guys support the Kickstarter, you stand a very good chance of not being disappointed in terms of the things that you really want to see out the gate as part of your playing experience. You support the Kickstarter, you're going to see there's going to be a lot of joy, as this thing progresses, as long as people get behind this and make it happen. So support the Kickstarter, spread the Kickstarter around, and then you get to see the things you want to see. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys have really got your stuff together, and it reminds me of I'm very excited.
Please don't kill me, Shane.
Very excited to see this happen because I think you really should get involved in this because much like the John Wick's 7C Kickstarter.
Oh God, I knew you were gonna bring that up.
Well, no, I'm just saying, that's fun. I mean, being part of the Kickstarter is so much fun. If you haven't been part of a Kickstarter that's pretty, that's really cool and iconic, kind of like what you're doing here, if you've never done that, you need to be a part of that ride because it's fun. It's fun just watching it happen and being a part of it and getting the emails and and just all the stuff that goes on during a Kickstarter like that. It's like it's almost worth the money instead of waiting because it's like I want to be part of this. I want to ride the train with you guys.
Well, you're never going to see a more over the top, more gonzo, more push all the boundaries iteration of Savage Worlds than you will see in this product. Jody has teased me mercilessly about it, actually, just because it is right. We took ideas from Superpowers Companion, and we took stuff from Sci-Fi Companion, the most recent things, and we looked at ways they did things. So everything is founded on existing material, right? We're not trying to reinvent the wheel, but we made that wheel shiny with lots of bling and maybe some rotating. It's got the spinning hubs and probably shoots lasers.
There's something I could say here about the thing that I think people will like. it was really important to us, and it is clear it's important to a lot of people from the stuff that's going on in the chat to find out, what is it we're doing in Savage Rifts. And when I wrote the GM Screen Adventure, that's what I wrote it to do, is to kind of give you an idea of what is Rifts, what are the main conflicts that you guys are going to be involved in, and how exactly the Tomorrow Legion, which is the group that the player characters are meant to belong to, how they get involved in all that. And that's what the Garnetown Gambit adventure does. It puts you right in the middle of the action, and it involves it involves a settlement that's caught between the Federation of Magic and the Coalition, and they don't know what to do, and that's where you guys get involved. I'm not going to give any more spoilers than that, but I think it was important to Sean, it was important to me to give right there in the first adventure, like, this is what's happening, right? And
right.
give a new player, anybody who's never played Risk before, an idea of what is going on in North America that makes it such a compelling place to play.
And adventure support is something that we really pushed forward. A lot of our friends early on were saying, please have adventures, because that was not a whole, that was one place that Rifts didn't really go. I mean, you had some adventure generators, some adventure ideas in the book, stuff like that, but they really wanted to see adventures. They wanted to see things, stories that they could get themselves involved into. And this is something that Pinnacle is known for, and it's something that we, that Shane really encouraged us to get and delve into, and we have in a lot of ways. So, you guys are going to definitely see adventure support as well as source material support and everything else.
That is fantastic. I'm excited.
All right,
get in on this one.
Oh yeah.
Would this be an okay question? Well, I am going to ask the question. Now, you can answer it in a variety of different ways. But
by the way, hang on before you.
Yes.
Aaron Acevita is one of the guys in the chat. He is the art director, and he can answer the question. Aaron, they were asking me earlier, who's the guy who did the covers? Everybody wants to know who the artist on the covers, and for some reason I drew a complete blank. And while he's hopefully going to answer that question, I'm going to reiterate what he said. Shout out to the Rifts art team. They've done some incredible work, and we think you're going to love it. I know for a fact you guys are going to love the art these guys have done. I'm beyond honored and blown away by the work these people
There's this piece that's going to be shown tomorrow on the Kickstarter. It's a Cyber Knight holding the Coalition flag that she's like pulled down, and it just looks freaking awesome.
Very iconic pieces. Very iconic piece. And it's all color. Right, we're doing all colors.
Full color book, yeah.
Aaron Riley. Yep.
Aaron Riley is the artist. Yeah.
I knew his name. I showed his blog recently, but I was drawing a blank on his name. So, all right. So you had your question, sir.
Yeah. All right. So let's pretend it's tomorrow, and for everyone in the chat, for all the fans who are looking forward to, I think it's 12 noon tomorrow that it goes live.
12 noon Eastern, yes.
Eastern time. So just to give us a little bit of a preview. Let's say we pull up on the page, and even probably we look at the artwork first, but what everyone is going to do is they're going to go and look over, and what are the first couple of dollar amounts we might be able to see as it goes down?
I feel okay. I feel okay answering this because Jody has answered this publicly, so I know I can't be killed for this.
All right.
So the $15 pledge is the Tomorrow Legion, the Rifts Tomorrow Legion Player's Guide. PDF and all digital stretch goal items. Now, the people have asked why we call this Tomorrow Legion Player's Guide, and that is because we wanted to give a focus and say this is what we're doing with Rifts. And, so we wanted to give a focus on the Tomorrow Legion is the adventuring paradigm. This is how we're getting characters together, and it's a way to sort of let that stand out a little bit more and saying this book. I mean, it gives you everything to play Rifts, but the focus is on the Tomorrow Legion as far as why you and these other characters are getting together and doing stuff. So we thought that was going to be a really cool way to go with sticking, making that book stick out as this is the Tomorrow Legion's Player Guide for Savage Rifts. So the next one, I'm going to say the next one, but another important one that I know she has talked about is the $45 pledge, which is the digital GM. And that's the one that gets you the Tomorrow Legion Player's Guide, the Game Master's Handbook, Savage Foes of North America, the GM screen inserts, and the decision, it's now the Garnetown Gambit adventure, and all digital stretch goal items. So I can say those two because they have been shared publicly.
Yeah, I remember seeing those.
That's all I'm going to say because Shane's sitting right there and he's got his hand on the kill switch. So. But I will say there's quite a bit more. There's definitely some places you can go. But I will also say if you look at other Pinnacle Kickstarters, these guys, this team knows what they're doing, and they're not going to mess with success. So there's going to be some prizes, there's going to be some cool things, but the core idea of what you tend to see in their Kickstarters, they're going to stick with that because they know the fans love it and they know that it works.
Awesome.
Yeah, and if the Kickstarter's successful, who knows? There could be all kinds of stuff going on in the future. So,
and
right.
you would be shocked to know how many people earlier were asking, "Oh, how are we going to know when it comes out? How are we going to know when it drops?" And I said, I guarantee you that if you follow these guys either on Facebook or on Twitter, I bet you $100 that with the minute it comes out, they are going to tweet it and Facebook it. So where can people follow you on Twitter, first of all?
Well, I'm Sean Pat Fan on Twitter, but I don't really use Twitter that much. I mean, I do broadcast to it, but really the best place to follow me is either Facebook or Google+. Those are the places where I actually post and say things. If you pay attention to Sean's Pick of the Day, I do a lot of stuff on there. But really, find Sean Patrick Fannon on Facebook and friend me. As long as you're not some model pretending that you like me, I'll probably friend you. So actually have some gaming posts or something on your thing that makes me go, okay, this is not something I want you to increase my penis size or something, or whatever. But so follow me on Facebook or friend me on Facebook, friend me on Google+. Pay attention to the official Savage Worlds Facebook group. Pay attention to the Savage Worlds group on Google+. Or join us on the forums on Pinnacle Entertainment Group or peginc.com.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all really great places to follow. But really, if you're interested in this project, I can't imagine you not, seeing what's going on. Not just for the Kickstarter, which again, it's noon tomorrow, and it's going to be going, and I think this is going to be pretty obvious to the whole world that's going on. But for what's going on afterwards, all the stuff that's coming in the future, and then the things that we're going along with. And if you want to have your say, right? Say, look, I'd really like to see this, or you did this, and I thought this was interesting, but what about this? We listen. Our relationship with our fans is incredibly important to us. I think Pinnacle Entertainment has one of the best fan relationships of any publishing company in the world, and so it's important just to listen to our fans. Ross had something.
Sean, tell them about the map of North America.
Oh yeah, okay. I think we can talk about that. So one of the things that's been fans I've wanted.
Trav should be really interested in this.
One thing I've wanted is a complete map, right? That really gets into all the factions, all the major locations, everything going on. Where is all this stuff? Well, we did it. To Alita Saxon, I gotta say, she is such a superstar. She's been working with Aaron Acevedo, but she is specifically been working on the map, and she's been working closely with Kevin and his team. And Kevin's real thrilled about seeing this map pulled together. So that's one thing that we're really, really proud about, is we're going to have an updated North America map that focuses on the factions and locations.
Map of North America, yeah.
Yeah, we're real thrilled about this. Real thrilled. In fact, occasionally you see me make my eyes darting over and looking at something, is because there's still questions and we're still...
I went through a stack of books this high to find important locations to put on this map.
Yeah, he had his stuff I didn't even know existed, and I thought I had a pretty good handle on it. So
everything from Mad Haven to Arsno to Dinosaur Swamp. I mean, you name it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff about North America, all little tidbits and everything, and just
tons of books on that stuff. So
no, I want to see this map.
I figured.
I think Trav's going to jump in just to get the map.
No, I'm going to get involved in this anyways. Yeah, of course. But I mean, when he said the map, it's like the only time I find maps for Rift stuff, they're homemade. They're on some web page that somebody put up about their campaign. But to find a fully cohesive, official, big thing. So
I know we've probably gone way over on time.
It's fine.
But
well worth it.
We close. I'm going to give you guys an exclusive.
Uh-oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm going to give you the first 4 lines that appear on the Kickstarter page.
You heard it here first, folks.
Juicers and crazies with chainswords and plasma rifles dance, slash, and blast their way through giant war machines. Leyline walkers and mystics float among the filaments of power, driving back hordes of demons and monsters from worlds beyond. Glitter boys and cyber knights defend the innocent and downtrodden against countless tyrants and raiders. Bursters and mind melters wield superhuman powers of the mind to change the world. This is Rift's Earth, and it's gone completely savage.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Very
Excellent.
good.
Hey, Sean.
That's what starts tomorrow.
Sean,
Excellent.
how much would you shit yourself if next week at this time you look and you see that you are $1 million or $2 million in? I mean, come on.
You guys wouldn't see me again for like a year. Where did he go? No, I'm kidding. Now here's the thing. There's ways that Kickstarters work that drive certain growth patterns. I mean, there's a math to it, there's a science to it. We're going to be happy funding and getting books to you. That's it, right? The more the more that comes through is going to help us do more cool stuff, and that's all I'm going to say. We're not in a competition, right? This is John made he did something huge. He did something amazing. We are all incredibly proud of him and proud for him. But he also did an entire product line, like everything. Was more or less put through that thing.
So this is wave 1 Kickstarter, if you want to think about it that way.
Okay.
Ooh, okay. I'm glad you said that instead of me. That way you can get in trouble for it.
You can think about it that way. I'm not saying that's how we're thinking about it, but you can think about it that way.
And John is a friend of the show too. He's been on, and we love him, and we love you guys are now friends of the show, and we love you guys too, and we want nothing but the best for everyone.
Gets 228. I just saw your question, and the answer is yes.
It's an awesome T-shirt too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, and somebody was asking, how long is this Kickstarter going to run?
It's going to start tomorrow, and it's going to go to May 19th.
So
Ever got that right? No? Am I wrong? I think it's May 19th. Yeah, okay. I'm fairly certain it's May 19th. I thought Corinne actually had marked that on there. I'm pretty sure it's May 19th.
Okay.
So it's a little longer than the typical Pinnacle Kickstarter goes, but we thought it was important to
it deserves
more time.
Yeah, awesome. Fantastic.
So the Kickstarter will still be live while almost all of us are at ChupacabraCon in Austin, Texas, which, by the way, if you have a chance to get to that convention, it's the 12th through the 15th, and not only is it just one of the most amazing gaming conventions, it's going to have the most incredible guest list going, but you're going to have a lot of Pinnacle people there, and of course we're going to be doing Savage Rift stuff, and we're going to try to do something, one or two things that are directly related to the Kickstarter while we're there. So
that quiet guy all the way over to the left. Oh yeah, that quiet guy all the way over to the left. He's a near Austinite, right?
Yeah, I'm about 3 hours away.
Well, you should go to ChupacabraCon, seriously.
It's in Round Rock.
Oh, Round Rock. Okay.
That means if you go, the MythWits are going to ChupacabraCon.
You should totally go, and there's the guest list alone is insane. But come for the Savage Rift, stay for the awesome guests.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would like to say, I just want to say, anyone who's watching this or in the chat room or whatever, as Kickstarters go, if you really want to help out this Kickstarter, if you're very interested in this, make sure you share it on your social media.
Yes.
Make sure you tell people to go and check this out and say, hey, I backed it. You should back it too.
Yeah.
Twitter it, Facebook it, Google Plus it. You gotta spread the word, because that way, that's how this will blow up. That's how this works. That's how this happens.
Hey, are you gonna LARP?
Is boost the signal.
Are you gonna LARP Savage Rifts at ChupacabraCon?
LARP Savage Rifts? Dude, I do not work that hard. I'm sorry. Because we'd have to build Nerf guns that fired, 100 darts at I'm just not going to work that hard.
Well, guess 296. That's
way,
on you.
I was totally lying. We're totally in competition. I'm going to kick John's ass. Help us make $2 million. Love you, John. Love you.
Right. Hey,
John just put it in. John just put it on the table, huh?
Corner now.
All right, Pete. What's going on, man?
All right. So let's recap. Make sure to check out peginc.com. That's the home site for Pinnacle. Go to we kind of sort of hit on this just a tiny bit, but go to Sean'sPickOfTheDay.com. He's always got good stuff on there. I'm sure you'll get plenty of information. You'll probably be talking about this a lot there too.
Well, yeah, I do DriveThruRPG and related picks. I also do Kickstarter picks, and I also do Happiness, Peace, and Dream kicks. So, quick point out there: if you know somebody who has a dream they're following, something that would give them peace, or something that would give them happiness, let me know about it. I'm happy to help promote that. Like I said, I pick Kickstarters and all that, but really, honestly, Sean Pat Fan on Twitter, yep. Sean Patrick Fannon on Facebook, Sean Patrick Fannon on Google Plus, and also all the people who are in the chat room. If you did not get your question answered, if I'm allowed to answer it, I pledge that I will answer it. If you ping me on Facebook, you ping me on Google Plus, I will get you an answer. So if anybody felt, because I honor all of you who came on to support us tonight, and if you didn't get your question answered, then I will do my best to answer your question.
You can also go to evilbeaglegames.com to.
Oh yeah, Ross has been working his butt off and getting the site ready. This is big kudos to my brother Ross, as he's been updating our site.
Good.
So you can go to our website, evilbeaglegames.com, and it has contact info for me and Sean and Corinne all there, and we will have some info on Savage Rifts up there probably starting tomorrow.
Yep.
And I think that pretty much covers that stuff. You can find me on therosswatson.com is my home blog.
And don't forget to check out gamerstavern.org.
Right.
And this came in through the chat room. The art director, I'm sorry if he said that you can get it. Oh, look at that! There's
Hey.
He said that you can see some artwork by the guy doing the cover art at www.aaronjriley.com.
Right.
So you can get an idea of what you're going to be seeing, and then so just go back.
If you find me on Facebook or you find me on Google+, I have promoted his blog, so it's easy to find him through me.
And if you're listening to this, before next week, we clear the chat room out. But everyone can always go back to the chat room, and if there's a link that somebody posted, you can usually go back and grab it.
Yeah, it'll be there for close to a week, so you can always come back to this and view through that. So before we head out of this room and on to the next segment, I want to thank Trav for being our stepping in and being our Rifts expert. But Mike, cue image 3, please.
Already there, buddy. Already there.
Okay, so Trav has his own thing, and I'd like to give him a second to talk about that real quick. Dementia Radio, Trav.
Yes.
What is this Dementia Radio?
It is a internet radio station devoted to comedy music or dementia, named after Dr. Demento. I am the third part of a 3-part block called Blind Wolf's Rubber Room Association. My particular show is known as the Travcast. It'll be on tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, on DementiaRadio.org. Join me, Walks with Silent Feet, Pixie, Goth Bunny, and Dirty Red. And we read weird news stories, we play comedy music, I do mashups, occasionally some regular music like rock and roll. We've been following some politics lately because there's often primaries. So yeah, this is a weekly thing. I've been doing this for like 9.5 years. So please, tune in. It's Dementia, DEMENTIA radio, one word, .org. And also I'm on the TriTech Games podcast on podbean.com.
Yep. And Trav's show is funny.
Flex has been on it. He's been on one, so yes.
But it's a funny show. It's a real good show. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming on. We'd like you to stick around. We're going to play a quick game.
Sure thing. I'm here.
Oh. And this is where I hand the show over to Mike.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. If you're just tuning in after the episodes are split, we are going to play right now Name That Movie based on the movie scene. So what I will be doing is posting a picture for you guys, and each person will have their own picture. Each of you will have 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do 4 rounds, and whoever can guess the movie based on that picture will get 2 points. We're going to go 2 points.
So where am I going to see this?
You will see this right on your screen. I am going to share the screen.
Because the delay on the video, like.
Oh no! I control the video. I control the horizontal. There is nothing wrong with your YouTube. All right, here we go. That is that. So that, and we're just going to start. I'm going to go down the line. It's going to be Brian, then Pete, then Trav, then Ross, then Sean. That'll make it easy for everyone who's watching. Just go down the screen. So, this is a scene from a movie. We're starting with Brian. Brian, can you tell me? Oh, Brian, you have to describe this scene, actually, for the audio listeners. There's going to be a metagame for the audio listeners since you poor bastards can't really see this. I would suggest going to MythWits on YouTube and actually watching this. This is going to be a good one. But while you're listening right now on audio, Brian, describe what you see. See if you can describe the movie, and in describing, or the picture you see, in describing it, maybe it'll help you with a hint. Brian, go.
Okay, so we have a severed head with the most distraught look on his face, covered in milk and ravioli from what it looks like. And a torso with a rigor mortis arm, and it's on a clean was clean table with some furnishings in the back, and clearly that is from Alien.
Well, that would be correct, sir. That is from Alien. Correctamungo. And you know what? For next, no. In a tiebreaker, we'll have to decide that one. All right, Peter. Oh, why am I going to you, Peter? Here is your next picture. That would be. That would not be that. That would be this. That is your picture.
All right, so there's
even I know this one.
there's a window shaped somewhat like an egg, and your point of view is from the one side of the window, looking into what looks like an old kind of Victorian-looking room, but the floor is made. It looks like a disco floor with lights.
Yeah.
There's a guy standing there in an orange, a dark burnt orange spacesuit. Looks like yeah. And
that's strange.
And the room that you're in, that the window you're looking through, looks like it could be some kind of spaceship. And Mike, this is iconic as all get out. This is 2001: A Space Odyssey.
That would be correct, sir. Give yourself 2 points.
Gotcha.
Trev, this is your movie scene. Now you must describe this.
Oh, come on!
Hey,
I'm going to get
some French. I'm going to get some French foreign film.
These are
It's an indie film.
hey, these are all sci-fi, and even I got like 100% going through all these. So, but I had no multiple choices, which you guys do not. So some of them will be more challenging than others. But Trev, what do we see?
Okay, it is definitely outside. In the background, there are massive skyscrapers, and there is one up close on the left. On the right, there is a giant light board with the face of an Oriental woman done with makeup on.
It's Asian, Trav. That's Asian woman, Trav.
What did I say?
You said Oriental. That's Asian.
Oh,
You're showing your age.
yeah.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Don't be racist.
It's late. I've usually been in bed by now.
Trev, don't mind him. He was just poking.
And
go ahead.
in the center of the shot is a hover car with the lights facing toward, facing front.
Mm-hmm.
Blade Runner.
Oh, okay. Blade Runner it is. You are correct, sir. Very good. And this, Ross, is your movie.
Okay.
Now, first describe what you see.
All right, we are looking at a night scene, and you can tell it's night because it's all really blue, of city ruins with all kinds of twisted steel. And there is a subtitle that declares that this is Los Angeles, the ruined city of Los Angeles. And this is from the movie Terminator.
That is correct. And for anyone else, for everyone else watching, there was actually it was saying 2029 AD, which what scares me. We will be alive when 2029. Like we were alive when we came to the year when what do you call it went live. Jesus, why am I not thinking of Skynet? When Skynet went live.
And I was just reading an actual with scientific foundation article about the fact that the singularity event that they talk about for artificial intelligence development is actually within our lifetime.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But the fact that I'm thinking, wow, 2029, now that it's like 2016, is not that far away, and we'll be alive when that happens.
Yeah. Now that I've lost all this weight and decided to, not set myself up for a heart attack at 60, I might see it.
Yeah.
And speaking of you, Sean, this is your movie.
Here comes my French foreign. Oh, for God's sake, are you kidding me with this?
Hey,
Mike.
Describe what you see.
I do not.
All right. Okay, I think I figured it out, but so we've got this weird, I'm not sure how it's sort of triangular-ish pool of water, and there's 3. I'm thinking those are probably women in sort of plastic bodysuit kinds of things with these, they're like shower caps with glowing lights on them. Each of them is laying with their feet towards one end of the triangular-ish thing, and their heads towards the middle. There's a technician who apparently is getting one of them ready. Oh my God! I just realized what this is. So I'm not looking at the chat room so that I can not cheat.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure this is Minority Report.
That is correct. You are.
Oh my
this
God!
is
I got one
Minority
right.
Report.
Good job, Sean. Good job.
Very good. And back to Brian for round 2. So, Pete, at the end of round 1, everyone has gotten something correct. So it is
2
tied
points each.
all 2.
Yep.
All righty then.
Coming for you, Watson.
Oh, come on.
Are you kidding me?
Oh God!
Mike.
By
Give
the
some
way,
Gerber baby food while you're at it.
Hey, I thought these would be a lot harder not having multiple choice. Don't you worry. Got some hard ones coming. But okay. Brian, what are you looking at? Well, Brian doesn't know what he's looking at. Huh, see? It's all a matter of perspective.
Okay. So what I'm looking at is 2 interesting gentlefolk. One is a reptilian man in a beige and white spacesuit with a blaster, and on his left, which is my right, is a dark droid in a very pristine corridor interior. Now, this is Star Wars, but I'm going to specify which episode.
You have to.
Exactly. Duh. This is going to be... See, it's like that song from Stained. It's been a while.
I'll give you a hint. It's not from The Force Awakens. That's all you're getting.
I'm going to go with Empire Strikes Back.
You would be correct, sir. And for an extra point, can you tell me what that droid's name is?
IG-88?
Nope.
No.
It's Rusty.
I know.
Oh, I was just kidding. It's Rusty the droid. But all right, I was making it up. Somebody knows. All right, see now there's a Star Wars file. So what is that droid's name?
Forlom.
Hmm.
Wow.
He is a translator droid for the Gand bounty hunter named Zuckuss.
Yep. And if you look at his chest, you can see the circle on it, like C-3PO.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that that's where their translation modules.
By the way,
were.
the lizard guy, if I'm not mistaken, is Bosk.
It's Bosk.
Yeah,
Yep.
totally
And he's
Bosk,
a Transdoshan.
Trandoshan, yeah.
All right, Peter. This is your next one.
Okay.
Please describe what you see.
Shit. Okay.
What? They're so easy. So come on,
Brian gets
I know
Empire
this
Strikes Back. I get this. All right, so I see a beach and there's water. There's looks like some messed up buildings.
It looks very post-riffs.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And there's a building laying in piece of the building. Looks like maybe a vehicle of some kind laying in the water there. Shit.
What do you-
and there's a guy out there. There's a guy
hey.
walking in the water. I'm gonna say
It's daytime.
This is maybe Oblivion.
You would be incorrect, sir, by saying it was Oblivion. In fact, the picture that you were looking at is from the movie Inception.
Yep.
Okay.
I was going to say Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Nah, it was the.
I was going to say Planet of the Apes.
I hope more of these are like this.
Yeah.
It was the day after yesterday.
All right.
If the water was frozen, Day After Tomorrow would be a great film.
Yes.
All right, Trav. How does baby food taste?
Oh,
I know. What do you? Listen.
We're looking at
here's your training wheels.
two men preparing for a martial arts battle in a dojo. The one on the left is a bald black man in a black gi. On the right is a younger white man, black hair, in a white gi. They look like they are both ready to participate in a kung fu match. The first Matrix movie.
Yes.
That is correct. sorry. I mean, look, I went to a page. I grabbed all the ones I could. Some of them are easy. Some of them aren't so easy. So you pay your money, you take your chances.
Here comes
Here-
my French horn comes in.
Here you go, Mr. Ross.
Okay. So the picture we're looking at shows a canyon, and there is a raft in the middle of the canyon. It's apparently a river there. And there are 3 men who are on the raft. 2 are paddling. They're all wearing the uniforms of the United States astronauts. I believe one of them is Charlton Heston, so I'm going to say Planet of the Apes.
That is correct, sir.
That's
You are
Planet of the
correct, sir. Get your damn dirty ape hands off me.
Yeah.
All
From my
right.
cold dead hands.
Right.
Hey, at least it wasn't the iconic, Statue of Liberty one.
Yeah.
No, that's
So-
a pretty good one for an obscure
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sci-fi deliverance. That would be funny. Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
There's an ape with a banjo on the shore.
All right, Sean, this is yours.
Oh.
Describe what you
All right.
see.
So we are exterior in what could be farmland somewhere. To the left is, a house. There's a screen door, a tree in the background. In the front center, there is a woman, white shirt, black pants. Her back is to us. She's looking up into the sky, and what she's seeing is some unnatural clouds with some large, giant shape, multicolored with lights that looks kind of like that Simon game that you'd pass around and play because they'd play notes and you'd try to repeat the notes. When I'm pretty sure that's what inspired this. But anyway, I actually know this one, and I love mashed potatoes. This is Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
That, sir, is correct.
good job, Sean.
Very
Bada
good.
bing, bada boom.
Hey, Brian, did you know this one?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Brian. Okay. Well, Brian, do you know this one?
Ooh.
What do?
Oh my God.
Please describe to us, Brian.
Wow.
What do we see?
Oh!
Yeah. I know that one too.
Okay. So it is another exterior scene. There's a few people in center frame and very colorful, mismatched attire. And the central building in the frame is called Cafe 80s. Now, we see an interesting looking vehicle in front of the 2 people in the frame. I want to say Back to the Future 2.
I'm sorry, that was Back to the Future 3. No, I'm just kidding. It is. You are correct. It's Back to the Future Part 2. Very good. I thought this had a potential to stump somebody, but yeah, Listen, I didn't go through movies, watch them, and pick an obscure scene or whatever. I mean, I just, the internet is rife with things to steal. So anyway, that is correct.
By the way, good one,
Yes.
Greg DK in the chat room. He says, "I apologize for the crudity of my screenshot. It's not painted and not to scale."
All right, that may help
It's only
everyone
a
to
model.
see on the video a little bit better. Okay, here we go. Moving on to Peter.
Oh!
Nice one.
Ooh.
What is this? All right.
Well, you tell me. What is this? I'm blind. I can't see this. Please describe this to me.
So we have a scene that's got a lot of like bluish green screen on it. There are people, so it's a shot of a crowd, and they're looking up, and the camera's looking down on them from above. There is a woman with some somewhat like Bride of Frankenstein hair there a little bit. Not the white stripes, just her hair. She's got a big
The
do,
white stripes.
some big earrings.
You.
Right. There's a hipster standing next to her. Hawaiian shirt. There's a couple other people you can't really see much else about them. Son of a bit.
I know this one. I know this one.
Why? Yeah.
I'm gonna. Shit, I don't know, dude. Ghostbusters?
Well, by saying Ghostbusters, you are wrong.
Damn it.
Does somebody want to take a guess just to see if they can make him feel dumb? I'd like when other people make him feel dumb.
Oh!
It's Independence Day.
Sean,
that is
figure it
correct.
out first.
Oh God, I hated that movie. I've only seen it one time. Oh,
And you don't
man.
remember
for
this
the sequel,
iconic
Jimmy?
scene?
Oh
Pass
yeah.
him.
You have no soul. Independence Day. That speech that he gives, right?
Right.
That
Oh,
is like,
great speech.
this is our Independence Day. If you know
Yeah.
what? I don't even know you anymore.
You're a communist.
My heart drips with ichor.
No, your heart drapes with communism.
Jeez.
Sweet, sweet communism. Right, move on,
Okay,
Mike.
Travi, what you got here?
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh,
Nice.
very
crap.
generic.
Yeah, right. That's a stock footage photo. No?
It's such a generic scene.
Picture of the bedroom.
This is a say no to drugs, poster.
Oh yeah. And all right.
Trav's brain on drugs.
Yeah, I'm trying to. It needs to come back up so I can see it. Closer, anyways.
You shrunk it.
There we go.
Enhance. Center. Enhance.
You seriously can't see that?
Well, no, it's not coming up on the main screen. I'm having to rely on the window down there.
You have to. You just click on that window.
Click on it.
Click on Peter's window. Is it Peter?
No,
Me, Mike.
Click on Mike's
Click on-
window.
Click on Mike's
Click on Mike's
window.
window, and it will
okay.
hold it up.
There you go.
Picture of the
Enhanced.
bedroom with the window in the rear ground with pull-down blinds, and there is a man, looks like in pajamas, facing to the right, sitting at the foot of his bed, feet on the floor. Looked like he just woke up from a dream or something.
All right.
And I've got one or two answers here.
Pick one. Either one.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Bing, 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 bing. You got it.
Dang.
Nice.
Nice job,
Jeez.
Trav.
Well,
All right.
because it's Jim Carrey sitting in pajamas, and I only know of two movies that it was either that or The Mask. I'm going,
Right. That's
oh,
damn good.
nice.
Trey. That was awesome.
Yeah, I never saw the movie. So
I never saw the movie either, so it was like a process.
Nice. Okay, Ross, coming to you. Rapid fire.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
so it looks like we have a picture of a city. There is a gargoyle in the front center, like right in front of us, looking out over the city. I cannot quite identify the city, but it also looks like there's a giant piece of a comet or meteorite coming in to strike the city. So from those clues, I'm going to say Armageddon.
And if you said Armageddon, you'd be right.
Woo!
Very good. All right,
I don't
Sean.
want to close my eyes.
You know what?
Oh.
God, I know. I'm sorry. What do you want me to tell you? Okay. I mean,
Okay,
just
folks.
describe it in like one sentence with the name of the movie at the end. Come on, it's got to be that simple.
Scotty and Bones holding Kirk back as he's got a horribly pained look on his face as he's watching his best friend, who you cannot see off screen, Spock, die in a radiated chamber in Star Trek II Wrath of Khan.
Right. Now, I was a little concerned because, as you can clearly see here, there's a head right there. That was scary for me. I was threw me off for a second. But,
Don't fight it.
That was
I,
that was the unnamed crew member who was supposed to also help hold him back.
yes.
Right.
All right. Moving
He's
on.
dead already.
That's right. Okay, moving on to. We're back to Brian.
Yep.
Now, if you can, if you know this, if you're not sure, describe it at more length because we're running low on time. So
I know this.
Okay,
Burn through it.
James Cameron's Avatar.
wait. So
He didn't even bother describing. He just jumped into it.
how you're going to
It's
do
a
this?
slide full of what would be life-sized drones, actually.
Right. So
Yeah,
how you
giant
will do this?
quadcopters and like the Quinjet from Marvel in an alien landscape with giant pillars with the sun blinding you. Yeah,
Right.
that's James Cameron's Avatar.
So here's
giant
what you're.
quadcopters and a Quinjet.
Here's what you're going to do from now on. Everyone will say, as an example, oh, these are the quadcopters coming in the movie Avatar as they're coming in for an attack, blah, blah. So just incorporate a quick, one-sentence description with the name of your movie if you know it. If you don't know it, then you can stall, kind of like it worked for Sean when he did get the name of his first movie. That being said, Peter, you're up at bat.
Ooh.
shit, man. Oh. Okay. There is a forklift, and it's carrying a container. It's nighttime, and there's a kind of a tropical-looking scene. The container looks like it's holding some kind of nasty beast. Now, this is where I'm going to get screwed up because I know it's a Jurassic property.
I'm going to be so pissed if you get this wrong.
Which Jurassic property? It could be a lot of them.
Are you freaking kidding me?
But I'm not a big fan of the Jurassic stuff, so like I've only seen every one of them once.
Look at the clothing. Look at the clothing of the guy in the what do you call it here? In the driver.
Wow,
Right.
that really
Clothing have to do with anything.
You can tell the style.
Oh, the style, right? T-shirt and jeans, that never goes out of style. Just crap. I don't know.
Hard hat looks like the clothes I wear to work. What do you mean? Look at the
Jurassic World.
Oh my!
Dude, I'm not a fan. I don't know.
Jesus Christ. Jurassic Park. The Jurassic Park.
Look at the quality of the picture.
I know.
That's how 90s movies were shot.
I don't know. Just go.
Oh, Lord have mercy,
That's
Peter.
actually how the book opened. Ugh.
I didn't read the book.
That being said, Trev, this is yours.
I hate you. I hate you.
Okay.
Just down and comply.
Yeah. It's a large robot, has machine gun turrets for arms, 2, what do they call, plantigrade legs. And there are some people on the right, many of them have lab coats, but there is one guy in a suit at a podium as if he's introducing this robot. And I'm going to see where's 3 of these. Crap. First RoboCop movie, the original Peter Weller RoboCop movie.
That is correct.
It's
Hashtag.
not a podium. That's the control station for Ed 209 these days.
That's Ed209.
Yeah.
Hashtag Bok. Okay. Ross, this is yours.
Oh, all right. Okay, we are looking at 4 soldier-type people wearing black shirts and gray pants. They are a co-ed squad, you can tell because Dina Meyer is in there. And they're all showing off their tattoos they just got from a laser tattoo shop before they go out and kick butt on Planet K. This is from Starship Troopers.
Yay!
Ding, 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 ding.
No.
That is correct. Excellent. Okay, and here we go for Sean. This is yours.
Ooh.
I hate you, Mike. I hate you.
Hey.
Out there. All right, so I don't remember the actor's name, but he's got a very distinctive look. A well-known, basically character actor during the 80s and 90s. You can see the bill of a military-style cap. He's got this sort of, dead-eyed stare as he's, got a disposable razor and he's got it on his face, and it's like he's shaving, except he's clearly drawing blood while he's doing this. Man's lost his mind because things are just have gone straight to hell as the Predator has been hunting down he and his team.
That is correct.
Bill Duke is the actor's name.
Well, apparently
You would know.
Well, apparently he's got time to bleed. So
Yes.
Oh, no one else knew that was Bill Duke?
no,
All right. Well, in the interest of, we're obviously going to be having some ties here. Ross gets an extra point for calling his name out.
What?
Ouch.
Oh.
Guys.
All right.
I see what kind of game this is now.
This is round 4, isn't it?
All right, yeah. So round 4.
Yep.
Last
Like,
round.
have a score
what's the
on whose
last
line is it
round?
anyway?
Yeah. What's the
Uh,
score?
Yeah.
All right. So Sean has 8, Ross has 9, Trav has 8, Brian has 8, and I have 2.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say I am out of the competition, and I believe you should give the other 4 a chance to make their money back.
All right. Here we go. We finished with Sean. Are we back to Brian now?
We are back to
Yeah.
Brian. Yes.
Okay.
How much are these worth now?
If you can name the actor if there's an actor in the scene, then you get an extra point.
That's fair.
Fair.
No, it's not, because I know Ross is going to destroy us now.
There's got to be a winner.
Oh.
Hey, Brian.
The
That
actor's
is
name is...
Oh.
Frank Oz. Oh, I get a point. Give me a point, Pete.
No,
Okay. So-
Please describe what we see. Because when I first saw this, it freaked me the hell out.
It is a POV shot through eye holes cut on a white material. It is dusk Halloween in a suburban neighborhood with a child dressed as Yoda on the left and a clown on the right. This is E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
That is correct. And when I first saw this, I'm like, oh my god, it's Yoda as a Franciscan. Holy shit.
Wait. So Brian, for that extra point, right? Who's in the ghost outfit?
E.T.
There you go.
Oh, there's a cheesy
Whoa.
way of getting to the point.
Yeah, I did not. I don't condone that one. Hey, who's under the mask? Who's under the Yoda mask?
Oh, come on.
Stop it.
Oh.
A
Next.
kid.
All right, Peter.
I'm not in this one. I'm out. I'm out. Give it to the next person.
Okay, Trev.
Oh my
really?
god.
Oh.
Really?
What the
One of
hell?
okay, we're looking at down on one of those flip-top coolers that you push the buttons in on the side and you pull the lid to the side.
Like an igloo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's got a boot, a small trophy,
Mm-hmm.
and pot. The thing on the left looks like an apple.
It's
And
a
it looks
duck.
like that's what it looks like to me, like a green apple. And it's sitting on like dirt ground with some stones in it.
Okay. And I think that's all you have there. What would you say this ground looks like?
Yeah, wait a minute. The picture looks like it's CGI. So that helps.
That does help, doesn't it?
Oh God,
Not even a little.
Wally.
That is correct, sir. Wally.
You forgot to rename the picture.
Oh,
my
my
God.
god.
Oh, crap.
Jesus, Mike, you're
That
fired, man.
Son of a bitch. I don't know how that one got. I renamed them
I'm
all.
gonna fire him too. You're fired twice.
All right. Did you cheat or did you? Oh, you cheated.
Who?
He gets no
Wait,
points.
what?
What?
No.
No, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't cheat for real?
No, I waited till
CGI,
you made
I go, wait a minute, that's CGI, and then I remembered seeing that in Wally. I'm like,
Yeah, I waited till he made his
Okay.
guess, and then I pointed it out. Hey, you
All right.
forgot to change the name of the file.
And I changed
Mike,
them
you gonna
all.
give him a chance to get an extra point?
There is no
How?
chance. There is
All
no
right, never
actor
mind.
here.
Go next. All right.
Hey, I got a good question to ask him for extra point.
Okay.
What was the name of his love interest?
Ooh.
oh.
Ah.
And that would be that extra point going right. It's been like years since I've seen it, but that would be that extra point walking away from me.
All right.
No.
I got it.
No extra point, but what is it?
Eve.
Eve. God, yeah, you're right. All right. Going to. Oh, well, I guess that was it.
Oh!
I don't know why I thought that was the last round. We must have had more. Let me check the folder, but I think that was it.
No, it's 22 out of 22.
Okay.
All right, Mike, are we calling it?
We don't get a last chance?
We did, yeah, Ross and Sean didn't get a chance for the last round.
Yeah, give him a. Can you give him something, Mike?
I don't. Well. All right. We're gonna go. Who's tied at this point?
All right, so Ross has 9 and Sean has 8. They should get a last chance to make a difference.
All right. Let's see.
You had no other pictures?
No, we're out. But
Who's that? Hold on. Before anyone starts yelling, who gets the chance to? Is this too obvious?
it's Ross's turn.
Okay, Ross. On the alien pick.
Yeah, I know.
Are we talking character name or actor name?
The character's name is Ash. He's the android on the ship in the 1979 film Alien. And he is played by Ian Holm, who is, of course, later on the actor who played
Jesus Christ!
That's an extra point right there.
Oh, that's definitely an extra point there. It's like a movie idiot savant. Okay. Let me see.
So how many points does that give him?
I gave him 3.
All right.
All right. Shit. Who played the wife here on Close Encounters on the Farm? Sean, do you know that?
Well, I remember that Richard Dreyfuss's character's wife is Terry Garr. I have no idea who the hell that actress is, though. You said wife, which is why I was saying, but I have no idea I don't know who that is. So,
Yeah.
is that her? That's not Terry Garr.
I think it is.
That's the mother of the kid who got abducted.
Shit,
Right?
I got nothing, man. I thought we were gonna have. I didn't know we were gonna have this.
Screw it! I predicted Ross was gonna win. He win.
All right, so
The character's name is Melinda Dillon.
I hate you so
Christ.
much.
Ross wins.
Played by Jillian Julian. Wheeler. Yeah.
all right.
Who's that?
So Mike,
I'm out. I'm done.
Mike, at the end of this, what do we call it? Movie scene madness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, movie scene madness. The final scores are. I'll start from lowest. I'll go lowest to highest. Pete had 2 points. Sean and Trav tied at 10. Brian had 11, and our winner is Ross with 12 points.
Yay, Ross.
Yay.
All right. I know that was.
You can ask my co-host Daryl Mott. We played a trivia game at ChupaCon, Comicpalooza actually last year, a movie trivia card game, and we just demolished it. This is for beginners.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up because
Every time
they got important stuff to do tomorrow.
I was
And
gonna
tonight,
say,
probably.
Every time I go and do work really hard on some tie breaking thing, it never happens. But the one time I don't prepare a tiebreaker.
Hey, Mike, let me help you with some scenes for the next game. All right?
Send them my way, big guy.
Okay.
Hey Brian, why don't you put one together and you can run the game next time?
Yeah.
That works. Yeah. All right.
I like to play.
Everybody, go back. Sean and Ross's Kickstarter, Savage Worlds for Rifts. It looks really good. And if you're just listening to this or seeing this video as part of the game show, go check out the Savage Rifts interview or the whole live show. You can find everything you need to know at www.peginc.com and on Facebook at Sean Pat Fan. And you can find Ross Watson at therosswatson.com and gamerstavern.org. And make sure to check out Trav's work at dementiaradio.org and the TriTac podcast.
Booyah.
So thanks, guys. And Mike,
Thanks
you
for
want
having
to
us.
roll that closer for me?
Yes, sir. Rolling.
You've just enjoyed another awesome episode of the MythWits. A special thanks goes out to Sean Fannon, Ross Watson, and Robert Trav Pulaski. Make sure to check out the riffs for Savage Worlds Kickstarter, Evil Beagle Games, Dementia Radio, and the TriTac Podcast. Join us for a live broadcast every week, Mondays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. To catch the full show, jump into the chat room like we had tons of people this time and ask our guests questions. If you miss our live show, you can always catch the encore episodes and the podcast version at our website and on iTunes. You can find our website at mythwits.com, and you can visit us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Do the like, follow, subscribe thing wherever it's appropriate. Please give us a bunch of stars and review on iTunes. It's super important.
Please.
MythWits is a StudioWayne87.com production and is protected under a Creative Commons license. You can download and share it with whoever you like. Just don't change it and don't try to make money with it. Make sure to check out Studio187.com for more cool stuff. Join our mailing list. Our live episodes are edited into bite-sized bits, released on the following week. Interviews on Monday, Myth Bits on Wednesday, and Game Time on Fridays. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Tell your friends to tune in. And Mike?
Mom, I love you. Don't ever change.
Okay.